By the end of 1995, the Bulgarian clairvoyant Vanga had already been seriously ill and contacted only with her family, but she made an exception for a young scientist from Russia. The conversation lasted more than an hour. The clairvoyant told him, "You will help people to do good deeds. Your activity will be known all over the world." Vanga's prophecy began to come true. Grigori Grabovoi, doctor of physical and mathematical sciences, professor, the member of the Academy of Sciences, has become well known also as a clairvoyant, foreteller, and a healer. Believe it or not, but you have to. Let's say once a locator struck me directly on my eye began to see badly. Then I checked and it appeared that there is a cataract begins to ripen. That is lens opacity. It's terrible, and I have remembered that there is Grigori Petrovich. Well, I went to him promptly. He gave me a diskette with his voice recorded, and what I want to tell you is that at the level I've noticed the cataract boils up, it was 15 years ago, and at that level it stopped. I want to tell that, well, I am superstitious as all the pilots, of course, so it stopped, that is. Then I passed the physical evaluation board. After that, I have flied and 5 times participated in America in shows. Then, step by step, I began to deal with shish kebab, make wine. By the way, I planted grapes myself. I used to make a sprout, grow a branch, heal in a rod. Then the rods grew, I put all them on the lane, I cut off grapes myself, reaped the harvest myself, treated out for wine myself. By the way, after some 3 years I found out that treating it out by legs is the best way to produce the wine. The wine different from when I mashed it by hands in the beginning. Well, I did not that much in the beginning, 50 liters or so. It was the beginning, therefore I mashed it by hands. When the quantity of grapes increased, I even took a crusher. Basically, of course, I made the wine already when studied my first year at the university. Therefore, the grapes were at the first place, farm works and by the by. Usual university studies. When I had time, I studied. When someone thinks of his position in a society, it's like he becomes aware of himself. First of all, I guess he should think of where he is in the modern world, and these pretty simple facts surrounding him in form of some events, things, they're traced to the idea that the person understands at last the probability of global destruction of the planet, for example, through the nuclear capacity. So my attitude is that I simply act so that nothing would happen. For example, to start possible global accident. The meaning of my doctrine and my theoretical elaborations is the idea that any human researchers should be directed, first of all, on not extinguishing the humanity, and secondly, that all these researchers, including scientific ones, were the best to service the human beings. That is most harmonious, and here in this case I have operate a simple principle. The eternal janitor has created eternal man as well. When many people begin to profess this ideology, when it is studied and transferred, we receive the reality virtually undestroyable, including the impossibility of a mankind extinguishing. up in steppes and foothills of Kazakhstan. When he was 12 years, he has understood that something distinguishes him from the others. For example, he heard a noise of a waterfall by dozens of kilometers, understood foreign speech and predicted events. No one offended him. People surrounding him were kind. Probably because of this, Grabovoi appreciated so much the harmony of human relations and the nature. Once when he was an undergraduate student, preparing for examinations, Grigori suddenly felt something strange and terrible. He could clearly imagine smoke, fire, and people rushing about. On the eve of Chernobyl accident, he saw this vision again. Several years after, Grigori Grabovoi will help many victims in this tragedy. Well, I'm grateful to him in the way that he was one of the first who has defined that after Chernobyl, the radiation was not completely deduced from my marrow and bones. That's why I am still alive, while many others, probably more than dozens of thousands, have already died. It is well known in aviation that defect revealed in time can prevent a plane crash. That is why the General Antoshkin has readily believed in the unique abilities of Grabovoi. The scientist was able to distantly, without touching the equipment, point on malfunctions of planes and warn about possible troubles. When I was appointed to command military air forces of the Moscow region, well, officially there were 7 crashes, accidents, plus 4 so-called latent bendings. More than 50 lost officers, soldiers, warrant officers, and very many incidents, many crimes. Considering the previous experience, considering the data of such people, it became possible to turn the situation to the better point. In 2 years, there were no crashes. We have seized such facts in the air forces of the Moscow region. We made it. Until now, I feel certain respect from my subordinates, and sometimes even from their families. I always told from the earlier, I told them, you will now laugh at me, you will curse me, but you will remember that when you will retire alive and healthy. We are still rather illiterate in many questions, so it is not necessary to extol ourselves like this. But if there are such people, it is necessary to use their experience. It is necessary to force them to work together with the scientists, and the possibilities they have should be transferred to others. Well, everything should be directed for the human benefit. He checks each jet before the release from the production facility. He has powers and he sees what troubles and unexpectedness can occur. It happened that he said leading edge flaps will not be released. Something is seized there and so on. There's a crack there, maybe, look. In a word, he used to warn us. But for me, at that time, it was absolutely improbable. Grigori Petrovich, seems to me, he has such high abilities. He could predict much and he could help and interfere at the very right moment. It would be good if the aviation would never be compromised. Maybe it is possible to build a prediction center even here in Sheremetyevo to make prediction before each flight. Many serious problems were avoided also in space. In September 1997, a day before joining between the stations Mir and Atlantis, there were serious doubts about the success of the operation. But Grabovoi has assured the flight authorities that everything will be okay. Although, to say the truth, he has pointed at a variety of malfunctions which were quickly eliminated. My personal experience has shown that in modern reality it is possible to do many things using only technologies of consciousness. Particularly, I was engaged in satellite systems calculations where it was necessary to use personal possibilities concerned to the concept of clairvoyance or special level of consciousness. And many problems could be solved using only this concept because, as it is known, many mathematical and physical problems don't have any exact decisions, and considering that the development of civilization is very diverse, I think that first of all the essence is inside the person, inside his spiritual internal status. Development of any science should be based, in my opinion, first of all, on the necessity to possibly improve the life of everybody at once. Yes, as creative as possible, I think, about everybody, especially the fundamental sciences. I think that the basic intention, especially in any fundamental sciences, either traditional or not, is that people engaged in this work should think of the whole humankind benefit. The mankind has learned to predict natural and technogenic disasters, but it is unable to prevent them. It can be that technologies offered by Grabovoi are the beginning of the solution for this major problem. Grigori Petrovich has invented two great devices, one of them for forecasting and coping with earthquakes, and the second for distance thought transfer. Grigori Petrovich had come to an idea to supply each house with such a device, which would first of all alarm the beginning of earthquakes and indicate whether the house will be destroyed or not. And then an idea has appeared that it would be imperative to develop such a device and to organize its mass production. And a mass production can be organized only here in Research Center, and for this purpose, first of all, it is necessary to prepare a properly trained staff. Thus, since that moment when we have started to contact Grigori Petrovich, we got here one more unique department not present in any postgraduate research center in the world. We can foresee that an earthquake can occur in an exact place, and moreover, if the features are known for this particular optical range, it is possible to change the light structure and by that way reduce the magnitude, which is already written down in my patent. Now, what is actual is a transfer of individual signals, and that such stuff can be used for places unreachable, for example for radio waves. Whether we speak about big depths for submarines, for example, or we deal with great distances because distance does not matter here, here's a brief principle of this system operating. It is based on quantum motive level when the quantum effect is transferred like into a macro area. Consequently, a principle of virtually instant signal transfer appears. Our scientist has been awarded several times by governments of different countries for prevention of really possible disasters. In Bulgaria, at Kozloduevskaya atomic power station, Grabovoi has found a defect which could lead to failure equal to several Chernobyls. Unfortunately, all new and unusual is dealt with by mistrust and skepticism. Therefore, Grigori Grabovoi's scientific elaborations are not yet properly demanded. I have a great number of technologies which people do not take. For example, a method to prevent disasters and a device for its realization. Yes, a system with absolute warranty, definitely. No matter how much we advertise it, actually no one purchases it. Generally, we distribute it free of charge. But it is difficult to distribute even when free of charge. Managers organize this distribution process very slowly. Introduction of a new rescue technology is accepted difficultly and slowly. Well, it is necessary not to forget here that when the existence of the whole civilization depends on something new, its implementation should not be too protracted. Different kinds of charms, talismans, amulets have strongly entered our life. We willingly believe in a doomsday and aliens, but we doubt very much our own forces. The goal of Grabovoi as a scientist and as a person endowed with phenomenal possibilities is to awaken these abilities in others. Grigori Petrovich is assured that if all of us together shall strive for well-being and peace, troubles will fall back. Tibetan monks were believed to die at the age of 500 and more. Can modern man live that long? Grabovoi suggested a hypothesis. A man cannot die at all. Sounds fantastic, but the healing stories sound fantastically as well. I was told it was March 29th, but I had a carcinoma of the 4th stage, and the 4th stage is virtually, well, the end. There is left a little bit to live. I refused the operation and the treatment has begun. Now, he treated me. It means there were control hours from 22 to 23. Every minute I thought that it is the last chance. It is my hope. I have to recover. I have passed additional estimation and came out with a document. The document where in the beginning it is told I was sick, a kind of fatal case, and the second line mentions that I am healthy. It was August. Recovery term, it was April, May, June, and I never asked Grigori Petrovich when this miracle happened exactly, but this miracle is documented. When I make certain conclusions from some rescue in technical terms, for example, in the area of health, I teach not necessarily in this very sphere, but generally simply to rescue, in some areas of life of mankind activities. And when I finally show that it can be taught, my students teach their students, thus producing a kind of continuous development level, which says that if we to unite in sake of pretty self-consistent purpose, that is, in order to prevent a possible global disaster, for purpose of which it is often imperative to solve concurrently a task of eternal harmonious development, so this is a common task for everyone. The mission is to teach everyone. This is a common knowledge, a common progress. It is quite explainable why a man can live constantly, eternally, and why those who already died can revive. That is a closed system allowing us to make a conclusion about the eternity of development. And when people will begin finding it in things, in actions, and feelings, I think that education, the law of divine world development, will become universal and progressive at a degree that education can be received even more than quickly. It will become a spiritual condition, a transfer of a spiritual condition, which will allow to solve the problems of the common rescue. Even the person endowed with unique abilities cannot prevent all the troubles of the world alone. Therefore, Grabovoi undertook to pass his knowledge to the followers. Each one of these people has come to him in due time with a trouble or a disease, and after receiving the help, they stayed by his side to learn how to help the others. Everyone who acts according to this system should instantly and at any time realize a situation which at the moment is negative, yes, and transform it into a positive one. Hence, it is not just a forecast from the point of view of what could be, but it is rather an operating forecast. And the main ideological basis of the doctrine includes management of the forecasts you produce, which you are basically responsible for. When I accepted my first patient, it appeared I was able to define almost exactly what kind of diagnosis he had and actually began to help people. Now we have worked, 7 authorized students. It is not an easy mission because we have patients coming with AIDS, third stage of cancer, schizophrenia. Can you imagine what it is to work on one hand being got used to process by techniques acquired earlier? At the same time, he has different techniques. They're considerably higher. I guess their level is the highest one because those are the highest fine perspectives, the highest informational perspectives. And here, consequently, when you possess those informational matters, it is necessary to evoke a response from people in order to make them believe they can recover by themselves. It seems to me his main imperative is to change the collective consciousness. Today, it is the main obstacle, to reveal the individuals. Collective consciousness is a very strong matter, and it is possible to overcome only by developing the consciousness of our own. You must not educate the others. It is important to pay attention to yourself, to work inside yourself. This is how I see his importance. The importance is huge. It is equal to the importance of the Christ phenomenon. And here I am not afraid of this comparison. Grigori Petrovich, his technologies, they are here. You can take them. He posed a new science. It is definitely a science, and he has obviously indicated it. Though, truly speaking, I know another mechanism of our life. Things given in an obvious way are not appreciated, not accepted, while people always appreciate and accept the stuff that comes mostly through sufferings. Through overcoming of something, yes, therefore I told that I do not know how much time it will take for the mankind. When you approach something by yourself, somewhere inside you already understand it's thought you have not expressed it yet. But here you read it and it is expressed for you. How can you not understand something you are all ready to accept anyway? Man, you are the world, you are the eternity, you have immense forces inside, your possibilities are endless, you are the embodiment of the Maker. Do not harden your heart, think about good, do kind, the good will return as longevity, the love will present immortality. Immortality is the face of life, just as life is an eternity trace. Work to live in eternity. Live to create the eternity.